It's been suggested, apparently, that we talk about book stories this week. Books, not just the contents of the books, but why they're special to you and what they represent. And obviously that doesn't have to have a financial or sort of mercenary input, but just something that endears you to them and you remember, a book that you remember or an event.
Well, one of my favourite ones, and I've still got it, because I think it's up in the roof, is The Adventures of Pip by Enid Blyton.
Right.
And it was a book about nature, and it was just little stories. It was about a little pixie who would go off and do certain things. And one of the stories is about he needed some glue to mend something. So he went off, he was told to go off to the horse chestnut tree and scrape some of the sticky buds to get his glue like that. And there was another one where his friend's sister was getting married and they had no confetti, and the may tree was in bloom and the wind was blowing the blossom off, so they got married under the may tree so that they had confetti. And one of the other ones, I think his mum needed a new purse, and he got a new purse from the shepherd's purse plant, because as it died down, the seed pods would be in the shape of a purse. So he got his mum a nice new purse. And these stories gave me a real interest in nature. I love nature, and often on a Friday afternoon when I was at primary school, Miss Horner, our teacher, would take us for a nature walk, and she used to tell us little snippets. So, you know, so we all used to come together. So
do you have a nature table where you brought stuff back? Yeah, I remember a nature table where you had conkers. And
that's right. Conkers.
And what do those? Sycamores, didn't they? The sycamore helicopter things.
That's
right. Oh no, it's amazing how things like that stay with you.
So what about you then?
Well, now I've got a couple here actually, but this one is probably the most sort of bizarre in a way. I was up at an auction in Norfolk. This is about 5 years ago now. Up at this auction in Norfolk, and it was a general sale, but they had 2 boxes of books, and I just thought to myself, oh, and I had a quick scull through just the top of them. I thought, oh well, if it goes for a few bob, why not? And lo and behold, this lot came up, and I think I got it for about 10 quid or something. I didn't really know what was in it, but I thought that's part of the fun. For a tenner, I can have a lovely evening sculling through this, which I eventually did, and took it home and was looking through it. And 99% of the stuff was absolutely, in fact, rubbish. Mainly sort of just got given away, one thing and another. There were 2 books in there, one of which was a good sales book, but the other one was absolutely extraordinary, was this. Now, this was co-written by my late brother, Henry, my beloved Henry, whom I still miss on a daily basis. I mean, he was more than a brother; he was a great mate and whatnot. And he wrote this book on this illustrator, who was a bit Edgar Allan Poe type illustrations, Beardsley Poe type illustrations, Sidney Syme, and he illustrated quite a few stuff. But he was a fairly niche market. So this, in fact, there weren't very many published in the first place, and several of them were then remainders or brought in and whatnot. And I had actually lent my copy, stupidly, given the associations of Henry, I'd lent my copy, and it disappeared as these things do in the midst of time and whatnot. And I was absolutely beside myself, and I couldn't find another one. And lo and behold, in a box of books in Norfolk, as far removed as you could from London, where Henry lived and worked, and me down here. I mean, what were the chances? What were the chances of finding a book that had been remaindered and all the rest of it? And I was absolutely, well, I mean, I was in tears over finding it, and it was just so lovely coming across it. So that's the sort of main story. But the other story that got me very involved, I've always been fascinated in the First World War. The thing that sort of kicked it off was believe it or not, I'm sure you'll struggle to believe that. I didn't do GCSEs, I did O-levels. Now I know you'll find that difficult to believe, that while ago. And part of the English syllabus was First World War poetry, which got me involved in it, and I started collecting books. And this came to light again in someone I think who'd with house clearance sale, and I just bought it again. I can't quite remember where, a bag of books from the house clearance sale. But what absolutely amazed me was that tucked into the front of this was this photograph of one of the Flying Corps pilots who was killed and this is his mother's copy. And she's cut out this photograph of him. She's annotated it, saying, "See page 75 for the details of his death," which is also annotated. And then also a newspaper cutting of the time, which mentions his, mentions his death and whatnot. And I mean, the hairs on the back of the neck, because it is just so, so evocative. And I believe, I could double check, but I believe at the time he was 18. When I look at that face, he looks about 30, really, all done. But what also puzzled me and upset me to a degree is that something as personal as this, how come it's just in the box of discarded books?
I was about to say something like that. That's somebody's history.
Exactly.
Did they realise it?
Yeah, I know. And maybe the whole family had died out. You don't know. But here we are. Yeah, here's page 70 of where there's a whole piece about him where he's mentioned in dispatches. Yeah. He was Oxford Blue. He went into the Middlesex Regiment, and she's actually annotated here. Lieutenant Brewstead flew the Channel with a new machine a few days before his death, and lost his life in a fight with, and instead of an enemy machine, she's put 2 enemy machines on the 5th of April 1917, and where they've put he died a few hours afterwards, she's again put he died a day afterwards. And I just find that absolutely extraordinary that could just be
in a box,
just discarded in the box. I mean, and given all the remembrances of Passion Day and everything that's going on at the moment, this again is just so evocative of all that kind of thing. And she's actually written a poem on here, which I can't quite read. No, I know. All that I had, I gave to England. I gave her everything that I had done, and all those vaster beings I should have striven to. Oh, and all those vaster heavens I should have striven to reach. So again, just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so, 2 quite disparate books, but both in their way, really affected me.
Yeah.